Welcome back to my kitchen. It is burger night again in my house. So I have some ground beef mixed up here. You can help me shape it. I'll bring you along and show you what I'm working on. And I also wanted to ask you, do you consider burgers to be healthy or unhealthy? I'll tell you what I mean more in a second. So I just finished smashing up not smashing it, you know what I mean, like mixing it together. This is the mix and chop from Pampered Chef. My favorite tool for ground beef, whether I'm cooking it on the stove or mixing it together in a pot like this. Also, does anyone else do this? I never have enough big bowls, so I always just grab pots because I have bigger pots for some reason. And I don't actually want to buy more big bowls. I don't want to have more things in here necessarily. I just grab whatever works. Just trying to get the rest off. So do you consider burgers healthy or unhealthy? Because I think it's one of those foods that are classified as unhealthy, but I've been trying to figure out why that is. Because if I'm making everything from scratch in my kitchen, honestly, I think that's what it is for me. What I consider a healthy meal is one where I know absolutely every ingredient and I know what goes in. So I'm just grabbing my burger press here. I'm going to, again, from Pampered Chef, I'm going to put this part on my scale so I can weigh each patty and get them to be a similar weight. So I know some people consider bread to be unhealthy and it feels healthier to eat a burger patty wrapped in lettuce or without a bun or something like that. But, and I would say I used to view bread as an unhealthy food, but now that I bake all of our bread, I don't see it that way anymore. We started making sourdough back during COVID, I think when everyone else on the planet did. And now, and I think that is healthier, but we were still using white flour at that point. So I would say we got all the junk out of our bread, and now we've been working over the past few years with our grain mill. I showed that in a different video, to kind of get the nutrients back in. So this is a loaf of sourdough. This one I baked for too long. That's on me. That's why it's so dark. This one here, I just baked it in my stone, what is this called? Mini deep covered baker. I think that's what it's called. This is the old one with the old brown glazing. And I usually just use it without a lid to bake my bread in. And I actually just use the same recipe. I make a double batch of dough, and if I want to make buns, I just take half of it and I divide it into buns and shape them. These are not the prettiest buns by any means. I'm definitely not the type who's making beautiful things in my kitchen, but everything just gets eaten so fast that as long as it's there, as long as there's lots of it and it's fairly nutritious, I'm okay with that. And I'm not always looking to make it super beautiful. So now that I bake everything from scratch, I'm putting this beef in. I'm just using my hand. I know there's a better tool for this, but I just cannot be bothered right now. So I no longer view bread as unhealthy. So if you think about it, a burger is really, this is just ground beef, locally sourced. Shout out to Bill Weir, who we got our beef from. So it's just beef. I put some homemade mayo in there, some seasonings, and here, I'll move you down here so you can see what I'm doing. I know exactly what's in my burger patty, so I don't view that part as unhealthy. I think the patty is the healthiest part, and even my baby who's new to solids, I'm so happy for her to eat a burger patty. The bun, like I said, I don't view that part as unhealthy because I'm making it from scratch. And then toppings, I'm gonna literally put vegetables and homemade mayonnaise in here. Okay, I've gotten better at this. So I pop it out and then I do push it together a little bit more. So this isn't a one-step process, the burger press from Pampered Chef, but I do like to use it as a starting point because I don't know if you saw my other video on these, but I am very bad at shaping burgers. This at least gives me a starting place, and then I can press it back together a little bit if I need to and try to help it stick together. But that way I'm not starting just with a random blob. So I don't know what I was saying because I accidentally knocked over my phone and shut off the video. But I think I was saying, with all of those things separated out, I don't consider burgers to be unhealthy. Yes, if I was going to a fast food joint, that would probably be unhealthy. Or if I was eating fries that were cooked in seed oils, yes, I would consider that unhealthy. But even fries, if I'm making them at home, it's just potatoes and salt, and I'm cooking them in lard, I don't consider that unhealthy. But I think it's interesting. We all kind of have a different definition of healthy when it comes to food. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, and if you think burgers are a healthy meal or not. Because for me, as long as I'm using whole foods, as long as I know the ingredients that are in something, I know the ingredients and I like the ingredients, I'm usually happy to eat it. So I just wondered if it's the same for you. And especially with bread, it's funny because I've definitely had times in my life when I viewed bread as unhealthy, or times that I've gone off gluten to try to figure out different health issues, and it never seemed to be gluten for me. Thankfully, I did get tested for celiac at one point, and I was so concerned thinking that maybe I would be celiac, and I would have been pretty devastated to not bake bread anymore. So I'm very thankful that that was negative, and I'm very sorry if that is something that you live with and you cannot eat gluten. Oh, Elsa sees the beef. You want some beef, don't you? Anyways, so for me, that's my definition of healthy, is if I make it pretty much myself, if I know what's in it, I consider most things to be healthy. And I think there's a healthy way to make most foods. But I'm curious, would you agree, or do you have a different definition of healthy food? Because I know for some people it's, there's a big protein craze right now, right? It's only protein or low carb or things like that. And I also wonder if sometimes we end up kind of living with old messages in our head about what is healthy, just as culture changes, as our definitions of healthy food change. Like I said, bread is a big one. For so long, people have been saying bread is unhealthy. And then I come across all this information about fresh milled flour and how incredible fresh milled flour is for us. And that's something that I don't just tolerate my family eating flour now. I'm eager for my kids to be consuming bread made of fresh milled flour. I'm gonna have to go and rescue my baby, but I just wanted to show you one of these before I do. So like I said, I'm weighing it over here on the scale. I know you can't see, that's out of the frame. I'm going for about 160 grams. I don't know why, that's just the number I chose because it looks right to me. I am pre-pressing it down a little bit in here. And then I'm doing this. I have this set up really weird right now because I don't know, trying to be fast for you. Anyways, I'll put this down somewhere. And then, so I kind of spread it out in there, and then I'm pressing it down. And then it starts to squish out a little bit, but I'm just trying to keep the pressure even so that it makes a nice cylinder. And then I'm touching up the shape a little bit, just kind of pushing that back down. And then there's silicone on this side, so it can pop out like that. Actually, I didn't even think I could just pop it out into my hand. I like that better actually than doing it on the parchment. And then I'll lay it down on a flat surface and press the sides back in a little bit more. This is way, way better than how I've been shaping burger patties. So I know my husband is very thankful that I am making them consistent shapes now, because like I said, I don't make things beautiful in my kitchen. I'm usually just trying to make a lot of food that is nutritious and make it quickly. I will list these products that I used today with their prices in the description. So if you want to order anything that you saw today, that is what is available to you. And leave me a comment. Let me know, what do you consider healthy, and do you consider burgers to be a healthy meal? Okay, thanks for watching.